Welcome to November. Good morning, people. Welcome back to the channel. It's Chrissy Sawyer here. I have no idea why I'm here. There is a massive information coming in this morning. And so today's message might be really gargled. It may not make sense. I thought I was going to do another Samhain reading, but it all seems to have already come through and the energy's changed. And actually on that note, I think I'm going to stop doing monthly readings, astrological readings, because I'm finding that the monthly readings are they're out of time. They're out of step with time of a month or the space of a month, or what we can see coming is kind of arriving like really quickly. So there's a time, something going on at the moment. So I'm not going to do monthly readings, but I am going to keep doing these energy captures just to see what's going on. So I started shuffling the Shaman Oracle deck. And the card that came out was Overwhelm and Plenty. We're in this cornucopia of energy. I didn't realize until 10 o'clock this morning that our clocks went back last night. And it's feeling very quantum and 3D all at the same time. It's feeling everything all at once. We've got this powerful new moon energy, which I can already feel. Scorpio new moon is going to be brilliant. It's going to be amazing. And we've got lots of masculine energy, so there could be some stings in the tail. But big picture, what I'm feeling into is emotional mastery, that kind of King of Cups energy. And for us to kind of reach a deeper level of autonomy. Remember, we're also preparing for eclipse season. Some relationships are going to be excised. So plenty of grounding might be useful in November. What say you? Plenty of grounding. All right, let's see. So without hope or agenda in this soup of energy, can we bring a couple of focused messages, please, for the collective? What is it we most need to know right now? Yeah. So here we have masculine energy, the fire. Wow. It's coming in on that 8. Scorpio is 8th house. Death and taxes, shared resources. What serves and what doesn't serve? What serves who? Whom? Lovely question. What's your motivation in this? What's our motivation? What's my motivation in this situation in which I find myself? Because if we're in kind of overflow and overwhelm energy, we might get blindly led into relationships or into situations we haven't chosen, consciously chosen. We're back to volition again, aren't we? Yeah. I'm just hearing the words, it's all happening at once. I think that's why I'm struggling to pull it in. And we are in Samhain energy. It's, you know, the access to the collective unconscious is peasy. It's easy peasy. Might be a great day just to take a day off work and lay with it under a tree. So galactic mushroom, when I feel into this card, I can see the mycelium connecting one with the other, with the other, with the other. So divine connection happening now. I'm seeing also some shadows being released from that collective heart, the collective wounding of the heart. I've got religion coming in, authority coming in, rejection of authority, but a conscious rejection of authority. There's a lot of masculine energy. This morning I started studying solar cycles and CMEs, coronal mass ejections. I've learned so much this morning. And I'm now researching scientific evidence that coronal mass ejections affect us on the physical and psychological. And can be connected to civil unrest and war. So I'm going to bring you more on that as I discover it, but this is the galactic mushroom. This is everything is connected. One cannot not have an effect on another. Everything is connected. So I've tracked 3 CMEs recently, and I can pin them to distinct events that have happened in my life. Again, hindsight is the only perfect science, because I never knew it at the time. But when I tie it back, it makes perfect sense. And the sun has roughly an 11-year cycle during which it goes through minima ejections, so corona minima and corona maxima. And as it builds up into its storm phase, it's because it changes poles. So the South Pole becomes the North Pole and vice versa, and that's what creates the activity. So lots more, and I'm a complete novice. I've never studied the sun before, but I find it utterly fascinating. And it's just begun a cycle. 2021 is the beginning of a new sun cycle. It's probably where my volition's coming from. It's probably where I'm picking it up from. All right, let's have a look. So we're with, this is massive picture. Let's try and drill this down. But it might be that, yeah, the other card that came out, you see, I'm all over the place today, and I'm comfortable with this. So ancestral wisdom, that might be part of the overwhelm, actually. Do you remember on the last video that I made, when I pulled the community card and I fell silent? It's because the room was full and I was in a massive download. But sometimes we can't kind of pick 1 or 2 conversations out. It's just this mass. It's just a mass. So I'm curious about what we can, at this time of year, what we can make connection with that we can't necessarily at other times of the year. Okay. So a lot, I think, is the word for the reading today. A lot, all at once. Let's see if we can boil this down, please. Which archetypes are getting ready to rebirth, elevate, evolve, move? Okay. God. Okay, let's see if I can just pick one stream up. There's so much information coming in. Guys, I'm sorry, I appear a bit dopey. I'm just appear a bit dopey, and that's cool. Vampire energy is about codependency. It's about the part of you that defines me, that I lean into, and that without, I fall apart. So that can come through in sentences like, I can't live without you. In sentences like, I want to make you responsible for my feelings. I'm going to project my feelings onto you so that you can take ownership of them because I can't. It's that kind of, and that energy is bang in the system at the moment, absolutely in the system. And vampire energy comes back to that lovely question of what's my motivation in this? So do you remember the other day I told you a conversation I had with somebody where I said, what is it you want from this? And their response was, I want to help others. Well, I hear what you want for others, but what do you want? And they didn't know what they wanted. So it comes back to the question, what's my motivation in this? Am I choosing to be vampired upon? Does it give me some sense of purpose and meaning and importance, worth, all esteem, all of that stuff to help you? And again, it comes back to this sentence of, I can't hurt that, so I will hurt this. I will not serve this. I will not serve this. And servant energy has been so hijacked. If we take this in terms of the masculine fire that is in the system at the moment, the solar plexus, and think how that gets activated in a solar flare. Then what are we serving? Are we serving our ego, or are we serving our divine will? Are we serving our gut, our knowing, our instinct? And this servant energy is also in the system with when somebody does something for somebody else and then moans about it, they're in resentment of doing it. Yeah. And again, what's my motivation in this? What is my motivation to assist you in this time? What is my motivation to serve you in this time? Because if it isn't coming from this beautiful collective heart, if it isn't coming from the truth in the heart, then you're probably into some old religious programming that to be worthy in the world, you need to serve it rather than selves, multi-dimensional selves. So vampire and servant are getting ready to be uplifted. I wonder what they're going to evolve into. Let's see if we can get a peek into that. So what do vampire and servant look like in an evolved state? What do vampire and servant look like? What will they look like in an evolved state? Oh, the energy. Oh, the energy's changed completely. My legs are fizzing. That's amazing. That's amazing. Are we ready? Ooh, yeah. Liberator is about freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs. God, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. It's so in the system at the moment. Releasing negative thought patterns. And do you remember last week how many times we pulled that freedom card? And it is the freedom of mental slavery. It's freedom of that old servant, needy vampire energy. The part of us that can't hold ourselves in mastery and courage and power. So when we liberate from that, we move more deeply into autonomy, which is going to cause schisms in the system, isn't it? Because you might find that you suddenly don't belong to that old group. You might find you're singing a different song and you might feel a bit alone in that. That's called uniqueness. Welcome. Oh, liberator. We're liberating ourselves. We are liberating ourselves. This is the beginning of a cycle, you know, and Samhain is, I mean, look at what's converging here. Samhain is the new year. It predates paganism, but let's call it the pagan new year. We're at the beginning of a solar cycle. If that isn't full energy, I don't know what is. So you might feel a bit between worlds at the moment. That card's been out an awful lot recently, between worlds. Fool is about fearlessly revealing emotion. And I'm not talking about hallmark emotion, love and light and unicorns. I'm talking about ferocity. That sits in the emotional field as well, ferocity. I'm talking about gut level response rather than emotional level reaction. Gut level, what is my truth in this? If I could say fearlessly, would I find myself adapting to be polite? What would I defer to? And again, right use of power. It's big. It's big. Okay. Let's have some more messages for this. Yeah. Underlying energy. Okay. Right use of power. We had the lightning card in the last reading, didn't we? Okay. This is eclipse season. In fact, November the 4th is the Scorpio new moon. I think November the 18th or 19th is the first eclipse. And then somewhere around Christmas is the second eclipse. And I think that second eclipse is going to be in Ophiuchus. So I'll definitely do a reading for that one. So power and right use of power. And in this situation, where am I standing in my power and where am I feeling weakened by it? Where does somebody need me to be something that I'm not, or I no longer am? And what am I holding on to that's actually stopping me from rising into that level of autonomy? This is asking a question about, okay, let's do a simple cognitive exercise. As a percentage, roughly, what percentage of your thought process leans into lack and poverty? And what percentage of your thought process leans into abundance and the celebrating and the recognition and the acceptance of abundance? And I'm asking that because if we're getting into full energy, we're counting all the little things, noticing all the little things, and the mind makes it real. So the mind, depending on where you're coming from, sorry, forgot to put my phone off. Depending on where you're coming from, the mind might see your world as lack, as never, as it's never coming, it's never going to, and that if that's the outgoing broadcast, then that's what's going to come back. But if in full energy, with that focus on abundance, you can see the small stuff. I was thinking the other day about people in the West and how blessed we are to have a roof. Not everybody has a roof. To have electricity, gas, food, a fridge. That's abundance. I always say, if anybody has a freezer, they already have more than they need. If we have food in a freezer, we have more than we need. If we have friends who love us, whoa. Okay, count the blessings, focus. Yeah, where am I bringing that in? Oh, there's that card again. Flowing into delight. It's all there. It's all there. The only limitation is what the psyche is projecting. It's the only limitation. Because that's the creator. This is the creator self. Wow, look at it. What do you look like in a thriving environment? What do you look like? Can you picture that? Wow, fabulous, fabulous. Okay. All right. Let's bring it into the animal kingdom, really ground it in. Right. What's our best guidance for this energy? Notice I'm not locking it into a time frame. How can we best work with this rebirth energy? The vampire and the servant becoming the liberator and the fool. This is an elevation in consciousness. How can we best work with this, please? Yeah. Notice if there's any avoiding energy in you here. Taking a leap might be realizing you hate your job. Taking a leap might be fundamentally altering how you relate with certain people. Taking a leap might be a vulnerable declaration of love, like unretarded, unfiltered, unapologetic declaration of love. Leap and trust the ground will rise to meet you. Wow. This is a big ask. Be peace and be playful in all this fire energy. I want to clarify on that because that's too la-la. That's too la-la. Yeah. Okay, I understand. I understand that. Effortlessness is, do we make it complicated? Yes, we're human. There are around about 11 systems that operate the human body, and we were never given a handbook. So yeah, we do make it complicated. We are complex, complex beings. Stop pushing so hard. The art of living means going with the flow. We have the flow card, instead of trying to force the river. So you might already be getting an urge that something fundamental has to change in your life. And rather than flow into it and allowing it to pick you up and pop you on another timeline and feeling that, I don't like this, I'm out of control, I have no control over this. Allow. Just allow it and see what happens. Because this is what gets in the way. Ego and self-esteem. Self-esteem is not self-worth. Self-worth comes from the gut. Self-esteem comes from labels, the car, the job, the conversation, the projection of the personality, how you want others to see you. It's nothing really to do with your truth. It's the ego's way of protecting the core vulnerability. And surrendering to ego is the epitome of right use of power. What is my motivation in this? So we're becoming so conscious in our choices. What is my motivation in this? Do I want this so I can beat another? Do I want this to feel better about myself? Do I want this for the upliftment of the collective? Do I want this because my gut is just forcing me into it? It takes more energy to resist that instinctual pull than it does to give into it. Yeah, low self-esteem is about that lack of abundance. It's about that poverty, withholding energy, which is parental. That goes back to parents, grandparents. It's a child that didn't get enough love, basically damages the self-esteem. But I always find when I work with clients, if I can get them back to even a moment beyond the point of first trauma, the child energy rises and there's no holding it back. And it's as innocent and pure as the day it was born. Wow, amazing. This is amazing. I have no idea what I'm going to call this reading. Let's wrap it up with, these cards do make me giggle. All right, what's the closing message, please? Let's see if we can get a title. What are we going to call this video, please? What are we going to call this video? These cards really make me giggle. They are so lovely. Gratitude. Not just for the good stuff or the nice stuff. Gratitude for everything that's shaken you and loved you and held you and wounded you. Gratitude. Gratitude because it's brought you here to who you are, not here to this space. It's brought you to who you are here today with all of your experiences. Says, may I be a vehicle for you wherever I go. This is the God self talking. This is creator energy talking. This is transcendent of any religious belief systems about serving God as an external thing. You are God. You already contain that divinity. Be a vehicle for it. Gratitude will be the title of this reading. So we managed to pull it in a little bit. It's probably still a bit wah. And that's cool. That's just the energy of today. Beautiful people. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to leave you with my love, and thank you for your beautiful comments, your likes and shares and subs. It's great to have you here. Okay, all the best. Have an interesting week. I'll leave you with my gratitude. Bye-bye.